Go ahead, Hannah.
Thank you very much. So like I said, our next committee meeting is the Planning Committee, which is chaired by Councilmember Anderson. So I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you very much. And for council members, this agenda bill did not end up in our packet, so it was a separate email, just in case someone didn't check their email this morning to see it. This is agenda bill number 23013. It's an ordinance amending the 2021-22 biennial budget, adding a plans examiner position in the Development Service Fund. The summary statement: this ordinance amends the 2021-22 biennial budget to add a 1 FTE plans examiner and associated appropriation authority of the Department Service Fund. The position will add much needed capacity to the Planning and Community Development Department to both process new permits and support the development of a new building codes related to electrification as recommended by the Climate Task Force. The ordinance adds 6 months of salary and benefits to the 2021 and 12 months to the 2022. And with us is Director of Planning, Rick Sepler. I assume he might have some words to add.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, council members. We come before you to find a path forward so that competing valued objectives can be met. After careful analysis, Kurt Nabenfeld, who's also on this call, the Development Services Manager, and I reviewed the pressing demand we have. We have a need to respond to record permits in the first half of this year. And we also have a need to advance a very important community goal of climate action and the changes associated with that. Unfortunately, many of the functions are in just a few people in our department, our building official and our plans examiner. Those folks really are necessary as we craft and tailor the codes so that future requirements for electrification can be incorporated into our review and into future development. Simultaneously, taking them onto that task without having backfilling that need would delay permits, which also have a significant benefit to our community as we face both an economic recovery and housing crisis that's unabated. So with that, the best path forward was a recommendation to add an FTE. The Development Services Fund is capable of supporting that position, and we respectfully request council to approve that change. Kurt and I are available to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Committee members, I see Councilmember Hamill's hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that when we talked a few years ago about the cost of implementing the climate action plan, this is one example of what I would have not seen coming. But I think it's important that we support this. The planning department needs that extra staff member, and the permits that are coming through need to get approved, reviewed and approved. So I'm going to go ahead and move approval of this.
Thank you. Any other committee members or council members have a comment? Councilmember Lillquist.
Thank you for recognizing me. I'm not on this committee. I agree with what Dan said. Rick, if you recall, during budget time, I tried to get you to accept another position because I could already tell that your staff was overworked and you were understaffed. And you respectfully declined because at that moment we were looking at furloughs. We were looking at across the city concerns. Those concerns have abated. And so I really appreciate you and the mayor bringing this back up. I felt it was needed at the time. Now it looks like it's prudent to take it back on. As you say, increased permit activity will help pay for part of the costs. So thank you to the administration for bringing this back up.
So before the vote, I just wanted to weigh in. I also really support this. At our last council meeting, we talked about workloads. And the question being, we have these priorities we've set aside, but how do we also, as council members, be able to put forward on agenda maybe smaller projects that we would like to see accomplished, and it all comes down to the availability of staffing. And climate action is a huge lift, and happy to hear permits are busy with building, because hopefully that's a lot more housing being developed. But we also have additional work that we need to progress forward in the communities. So thank you for bringing this position forward. I very much support it. So with that said, excuse me, I see Councilmember Vargas' hand up. So before we vote, Pinky?
Thanks. I just wanted to reiterate everything everybody said. The feedback we always get from people is processing resources, permitting, getting those through. And so as a council member, just 100% behind you in regards to getting your resources so that you can do the work that we need to so we can build homes in the city and we can address our climate action plan. So we're all right behind you, Rick, and whatever resources you need, we're with you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Is there no further comments? Wonderful. So I will then ask for the vote from committee members in support of Ordinance 23013. Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? No. So I will bring that forward tonight to council. Thank you.
So I think that's the only item with planning. So we'll pause just a moment to wait for direction from Deputy Clerk Oaks to start the next committee meeting.